My vice chairman is Adrian Inker, but Adrian has a domestic commitment that he needs to do, but hopefully will join us in a little while. We've had apologies from Councillor Matt McCabe, Paul May and Peter Smith from Keynsham Town. Well, it's the radio. I can never remember the acronym for them. Hello, Chris.
Hi, Alan. Hello.
Hi. Right, now the theory is that we are going to have the police update, but I can't see Rob on the screen at the moment. So we'll sort of move on a little bit. I've been asked to give a very brief briefing, and what I would say for those who are taking part, we have time slots, and I would really appreciate it if you do your very best to stick to the time slots. I'll just remind you when I introduce you. So, Charlton House, the old Hawthorns, and more lately a residential home, wasn't it? The proposal that has been consulted on is that Charlton House in Keynsham should be repurposed into a special school for 30-day pupils with highly complex needs, with a 52-week residential offer for 8 children and young people in total being provided by 2 co-located children's homes. The consultation ran from late November to mid-December and included online surveys, stakeholder events and public exhibitions. In total, 85 responses were received. And on my sheet, it then says I'm handing over to Adrian, but Adrian isn't here at the moment. So I will just continue just to try and flesh it out a little bit, but it will be a very little bit. Essentially, what's been put on the briefing note is that the consultation shows strong overall support for the Charlton House proposals, driven by the recognised need for local SEND provision and the benefits of keeping children close to home. Supporters also value the potential for community integration and the reuse of an existing building. Opposition is significantly concentrated around the immediate neighbours, who raised concerns about parking, traffic, loss of green space, and the suitability of the location given the high number of elderly and medically vulnerable residents nearby. Only a small minority oppose the proposals due to wider concerns about Bain's special educational needs strategy. Very early on, I went to a consultation and sort of put out the word on Facebook, just as with the permission of those who were at the meeting. And there were quite a bit of feedback, shall we call it that. And at the end of the day, I also deal with constituents who have children who have special educational needs, and they have been travelling far and wide, and I suspect some of the other councillors will have the same situation. So there is a big positive to what's being presented here, and hopefully everything will go well for them. So that's that little bit. I think I saw Rob. Rob, we started without you, but you're here now. So would you like to do your bit, and 15 minutes, and I'll call to a halt if you haven't finished by then.
If I haven't finished in 15 minutes, the world's gone wrong, my friend.
Well done.
Just touching.
Sorry, I should have introduced. Rob is the sergeant for community policing in Keynsham. Just in case some don't know.
I think I've met most people that are here. So a few things touch on from last time anyway. So we discussed Neighbourhood Watch. I know Judith was keen to sort of ask questions and everything and link up. I emailed out quite a large group of people on the neighbourhood watch scheme across there. I've had a lot of replies, and now what I am formulating, to be perfectly honest, everybody has pretty much said yes, they're happy to share their details. So I will be, hopefully by the end of the week, if not hopefully before the end of next week, sending out everybody's replies, but I will be separating those that are Keynsham and those that are Salford, but on the flip side of that, I will consider sort of sharing it all, because there is the element of, well, you either have to travel through Salford to get to Keynsham, or going the other way through Keynsham to go through Salford to Bath. So it's something up in the arms, and I'm perfectly happy to have a sort of judgment on whether or not people think share everybody that's in Keynsham with everybody that's in Salford, and we have that general overall feel. So that's something I've worked on in the last month. Well, 6 weeks it's been, hasn't it? Touching on what you were just saying about an educational needs location, unless one of my bosses tells me opposite, you wouldn't find me opposing that, on the simple basis I have a son who had to travel. He's autistic, he's 19 years old, and had to travel long distances. So the only thing I would suggest from that is I would be very supportive of it, but I would also be happy to liaise with those people that are sort of having opposition around the support we will be providing in that location, because apologies, I came in on the end of it, but that's the first I've heard of it as well.
All right.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't get put into the consultation, but it may be that somebody higher up than me is looking at that. But I'm more than happy to support that and look at that. And it sounds like it'll be going ahead regardless. The high street. So a lot of you will have had an email from Ben. So Ben Shadbolt, my new PC. Yeah, those I can see Alan's nodding. He sent a lovely email back, and he's got a thumbs up. But I'm pretty sure he included everybody. So Ben's introduced himself. He's come in like a little whirlwind, to be perfectly honest. So we had an incident. I will touch on my email that I sent following said incident in a second. But we had an incident on Thursday night. Ben brilliantly has chased a guy down, arrested somebody, and taken him to custody. He then had another incident on Saturday, kids messing around on Market Walk. He's ended up seizing an e-scooter. And I'm hoping that word of mouth now gets round. And I'll hold my hands up, in 2 years, that's the first e-scooter we've been able to seize, simply because, as you're all aware, my staffing levels have been atrocious, and I've been doing a lot of firefighting. I hold my hands up, I freely admit that. Whilst we've had some great positive results, I've wanted more. And slowly but surely, we are now looking to be a bit more proactive. Seizing that e-scooter is just the first of those things, but now word of mouth will get out. For those that may be thinking, well, that's not a big deal, e-scooters are an absolute pain in the backside, and the fact that people are buying them without the knowledge that they shouldn't have insurance, that they should have insurance and they should have driving licenses, is an absolute bane for me. And those of you that potentially read the Voice, where I pen my monthly article, I did say just before Christmas, if you are caught riding an e-scooter around in antisocial means, we will take it off of you. And the force policy is it'll be crushed. So that's a conversation I've had today with the father of the young man, who actually was very supportive. But for every supportive parent, I'm anticipating there'll be 10 that may lose their minds with me. But again, that's my job, and with the greatest respect, I don't care, because if you're allowing your kid to go out on a near 20-mile-an-hour scooter, I think a couple of years ago, just as I arrived, there was a lady on Market Walk, got struck and broke her arm, I believe. Some may remember that, but she was knocked over on Market Walk, and it was a very serious incident, and I think at the time we couldn't identify who it was. So I'm very much into sorting that out. However, I will follow up. I sent an email, folks, 6 of you. I think all of the Keynsham ones, and Alan, very nicely you replied and asked, can I ask that nobody applies pressure on the council about said CCTV, as I have now got the right contact. I've been put in my place a little bit for politicizing an issue. However, I think you all know me. I speak my mind. I do not care that I've politicized an issue. I will politely apologise to those people in Baines that have been offended. However, I will continue to push quite heavily with the fact that I want better CCTV coverage. I want for my officer to have a foot chase and to have have CCTV following him every step of the way. But a very strong request, please nobody chase that up, because now I have the right contacts. I can see you smiling, Alan, but yeah, I think you know what it's like in this organisation. I have been dragged over the coals in a polite manner. The high street itself. So I don't know if anybody in this meeting has been part of the email that I had today, but I've recently mentioned NICE, which is a video upload scheme that we have now introduced. Back in the old days, Alan will remember, you have to go out and collect videotape discs, USB sticks, bring them back to the station and upload them. We've just had an electronic system set up where I am now getting all of the shops to tell me who their CCTV providers are. So those people that sort of, say Poundland, I can't just walk into Poundland and say, can you give me the CCTV? They have to send a request off to their head office. So what I am trying to do is get all of the contacts for their CCTV so that we can centralize a database and make it quicker. But within the encompassing of that email, I have also framed the DISC app, which some of you may know Amanda Leonard is working hard to get off the ground. And thus far, I've struggled to support her. And today's the first big thing that I've done that should be able to help. On Wednesday, slowly but surely, when I get my replies back, we don't have details of locations like Subway and a few others. So I'm going to send my officers out to get those further details. What I would like is the 100 businesses or so that encompass the High Street, Shandag, up at Holmoke and everything. I have all of their details and they all know they can contact me. Because I know some of you are, I can be very High Street centric, but I do receive less input from the places like McColl's up in Holmoke and places like that, and around on Shandag. So I really, since we've improved the High Street, what I really want to do now is expand what we've done on the High Street all the way through Keynsham. Of course, it's a slow burn process, but slowly but surely it should improve. What else did we discuss? The travelling site. So I have had a couple of meetings and I'm in consultation with the environmental officer at Baines. They have taken full responsibility, but have firmly stated they will be going down to Durley Hill. They will be talking individually, and their plan is, so our houses, with the greatest respect and apologies if anybody lives on a houseboat or in a caravan, our houses don't move. So if you say house 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, they will remain house 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. The caravans, what they're going to go down is photograph them and label them as house, caravan 1. So that if they move around there, they still know which caravan is which. They're going to make that very clear. They are then going to speak to everybody who is living there at the moment and very politely advise them, with the greatest of respect, slowly but surely, you cannot remain here because it is affecting, while we're not getting a lot of complaints, we are well aware that it's unsightly, it's affecting communities, and that it's with so what they do, and please, if you didn't know this, they'll fill up one caravan with a load of rubbish, and then they'll ask the council to take that one caravan and everything else like that. So but then that becomes unsightly. There is a smell. There are rats that then run around and everything. And of course, you've got the bus gate, everything. I've spoken to Baines about changing the signage as well, so that in the future that doesn't happen. I'm struggling to think of anything else that came up at last meeting that I may get asked about, but I'm pretty sure I'll probably have an answer. But that's
Okay.
my main update for Keynsham, what we're doing, what we're pushing forward, and what's gone on. Any questions from anybody? I'm more than happy. You know me, I'll talk for England.
Sure. Well, I'd like to just say, Rob, very kind remarks by you, but as Dave Dixon will bear out, I retired before they had memory sticks.
Well, that's why I did say videotape, my friend. I you know. So,
Right, does anybody have a question of Rob?
Caitlin has a question.
Take too many, but anybody?
Caitlin's got her hand up, Alan.
Has she?
Yep.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Hey, can you hear
Hi,
me
Caitlin.
okay?
Yeah.
Are you aware of the severe amount of fake money we've got going around the high street at the moment?
Glad you've reminded me of that. Yep, I was chatting with Catherine Sears today over via email, but she read my mind. She sent me an email at the same time as I was going to sort of have a chat with her. We've had a couple of jobs of this. We've got intelligence in the background that there is a person who has a large amount of these fake notes and is circulating them out in the community.
Yeah.
Catherine is going to be sending an email out to all the shops, and on Wednesday my plan is to send my officers down the high street, and at the same time that they're pushing the new CCTV footage, we are developing a plan to make sure that what I don't want is too many people handling these £20 notes, because because it is such a big issue. What I want is to review CCTV, because it will be our usual suspect.
Poundland have got CCTV. Have they sent it to you?
Yep. No, I've been liaising with John, and Catherine is obviously she's bringing the £20 notes in, but we also had one at the fish bar, so the one right opposite Poundland.
Yeah.
That came in on Sunday
evening. I've got 3 20s and a 10 in my shop.
Yeah. Which shop are you at, mate?
Goldie's charity shop.
So you might have got an email today. I don't know. I sent it about 4 p.m, maybe 5 p.m, between 4 and 5, about this new nice scheme. And then I was going to use the sort of same one, but it just depends which. What I'm trying to ascertain as well is whether I've got all the right email addresses, because some of them may be out of date. So my plan is, please make sure you're sort of calling them in, because we are trying to look at all the CCTV, because it will be someone we know. Let's be realistic. Keynsham isn't the biggest
have
place.
You got names? Because I have names if you don't.
I'll come and we'll do those offline.
Okay.
But there are names that I can't mention in this format. But our intelligence, as Alan would be aware from previous history, we tend to know a lot of what's going on, and we just can't advertise it. But there are names out there. We had a very good job on Saturday afternoon in Bath, where a young man, I think 18, 19 years old, has been passing counterfeit currency, ran through Bath, attempted to get to the train station and get out of town. Fortunately, officers caught him. We've now seized his mobile phone. And in modern policing, that's like seizing somebody's everything, because fingers crossed, we'll be able to get in there and have a look at his messages and find out exactly A, B, C, D. Yes, I get that's in Bath, but the overall picture is we do believe there is a central source that is supplying everywhere, because it's not just a Baines problem, this one. It's everywhere across the constabulary at the moment. So expect on Wednesday an officer to be coming in, and if you haven't got CCTV, we are going to be looking at Poundland, we're going to be looking at the fish bar, and we're going to be trying to ascertain exactly who these people are, and then we're going to be sort of dealing with them, whether it's via interview. Well, the expectation from me is that we'll be bringing them in for interview and trying to seize their mobile phones.
Thanks, Rob.
All right. Long answer, but yes, we're aware of it.
You're aware of the one at Pensford Post Office as well, are you?
Nope.
Oh, well, they had a very good full face of the offender.
And again, it's all about people telling us, and
I
that's the
know.
message that's going to be going out. And I'll be doing it on socials
Yeah.
on Wednesday as well. So it's all been written on my notepad to do, is to put it out on socials and say we are aware of.
Yeah.
Please make sure you're telling us, because
Yeah. Okay.
it's a huge deal. And you know, without wishing to scare the group, we've been told that whomever this person was, it was, you know, up to £1 million worth of counterfeit currency.
Yeah.
So that is a lot of £20 notes.
Yeah. Okay, Rob, that's fine. No other
No worries.
hands are up. So if you need to go, feel free. Otherwise, you can stay and partake, as it were.
My utmost apologies. I am going to have to run only
No,
because
that's fair.
I'm on daddy daycare duties this evening.
Yeah.
As you can see, I'm in my scruffs.
Yeah.
But if any of you need me, as always, I'm about, and I've got Friday mornings meeting should go ahead, but I probably won't be saying a lot different to what's already been said in this one. But ladies and gents, thank you very kindly. And if you
Okay.
need me, just shout. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Alan. Bye, mate.
Bye. Right, our main theme this evening is of local health and well-being services. Andy, you are going to introduce a young lady, I believe, who's going to talk to us about Keynsham now. Is that right? Can you unmute yourself? Although it's quite nice listening to you talk with the mute on. It's all right.
It's all right. You missed all my best lines now, so I'll have to repeat it. So, yes, thank you. I will not speak for long because I've been told not to. Essentially, in September 2014, I started Keynsham Now, which is the youth council for Keynsham. The whole idea of it was to ensure that the young people of Keynsham had their voices heard amongst those opinion formers that actually make decisions about young people in the town. It's still going on, and let me introduce you to Matilda Robinson, because she's not how I know her. I know her as Tilly, who is the chair of Keynsham Now, and she was elected in September last year. So I pass it over to her, and I hope I've been brief enough for you, Anne.
Oh, absolutely wonderful, Andy. Yes, make a habit of it. Is Tilly somewhere else, or is she with you?
No, she's online separately. I've seen her in the as being here. I hope she's not disappeared.
Tilly, are you out there?
Yeah, she's on screen, Alan. Matilda Robinson, is that correct?
That's it. Yeah, that's correct.
On.
She's logged into the call.
Is there more than one screen?
She's got issues with her microphone, apparently. She's just put a message in the chat.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we?
Do we
Can
move
you
on to somebody else? We'll come back.
Yeah, if you could you contact her if you can, Andy, and just sort of set it up for when she's ready?
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Okay. So that's that. So we're on to two speakers now from two local organisations, and the first one, who has 15 minutes, is a young lady, so she tells me, Molly Hale, only slightly related as to her.
Hello.
Yeah. Molly is the deputy head of Keynsham and Mencap. So over to you, Molly.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so as my BAMP, Alan said, I am the deputy manager of Keynsham and Mencap. So my role involves overseeing all of our children's clubs. So for anyone who doesn't know, Keynsham and Mencap is a local charity that supports children and adults with learning disabilities and autism, and also their families across Keynsham, Bristol and other surrounding areas. So our focus is on helping people to live fulfilled and happy lives, to feel included in the community. And part of that is by providing social and leisure opportunities. So we do things like weekly social clubs, day trips, and even holidays as well. So these activities give people the chance to build friendships, to grow in confidence, and to gain more independence. So as much as these activities are for fun as well, to a lot of people, they are sort of their lifeline, and a really big part of their life. So our children's clubs, we run 4 children's clubs from birth to 18 years old. So they're really important for both children and their families. They provide a safe, fun and inclusive space where children can socialise, try new activities and build their confidence, but also families get support and a bit of a break as well. And then as our young people get older, our services don't stop. They transition then to our adults clubs, and it's sort of just a natural transition. So yeah, we can support people throughout their whole lives. So one of our clubs, this is our newest club, it's called Play and Shine. This actually launched in January. So this is for children in their early years, so from birth until 5 years old. So this is for children with learning disabilities and autism. They don't have to have a diagnosis. So even if there's sort of people suspect that there's any delays or that there might be something, but they're not too sure, or they have concerns, then they can still attend our clubs. So our Play and Shine group, it provides a safe and inclusive environment. So the children can come and play with the volunteers and explore. So the parents and carers do stay on site, but there's a separate room that they can go to, so they can sort of chat and just chat to other people that may be going through similar things, and that maybe they can support each other. We also then have Sensations under 11s. So this is a weekly social group for children aged 5 to 11 years old. So this runs term time only, and is a group where they can come to. We've got a timetable of different activities, so we try to make the timetable varied and exciting and stimulating and suited to everyone. We also, within this timetable, each term tried to plan one outing and someone coming in to provide an activity. We've had like rock band workshop, we've had people come in to show us circus skills, so we do a whole range of stuff. Then after that, we transition on to Sensations over 11s. So it's the group's very similar to under 11s, but it's just for 11 to 18-year-olds. And this is more of sort of a youth group. So even though we still have our timetable of activity programs, quite a lot of our members come, they will participate in the activities, but they're also there just to sort of be with their friends and chill and just, yeah. And then we also have Super Saturday Club. That's for 5 to 18-year-olds. So that provides something on a weekend for people. So members can go across both Sensations and Super Saturday Club. We have a few that are crossing over. And again, it's the same as Sensations. It will be a timetable of things, and they have a trip out and also someone coming in. So that's all our children's clubs, and they are all going to be based at Queen's Road Methodist Centre. In 2 weeks' time, a lot of them will be starting there. So we have a nice sort of base where a lot of our clubs will be. So as they transition through the different clubs, there is that consistency. But as well as, oh sorry, I just realised my slides are on here. I will quickly skip through them to get to. So this one, we do lots of different things as well as our regular club. So we do things like day trips such as Longleat. So this, we try to plan once a year a big day trip for our clubs. We speak with the children and families and just see what they want to do. We tend to do this in the summer holidays because from feedback we found that that's the time when a lot of parents struggle most. There is a lack of support during the summer holidays, so we're trying to do more things to to provide that bit of support for them then. We do an annual panto trip. So in January, we will take our children to see the pantomime, and they absolutely love it. We do an inclusive sports day. So this is for our members, but also non-members to come to. Yeah.
Molly,
So
do you believe your slides are showing? Because we've only got that lead slide at the moment.
oh, they are on mine, but it doesn't matter. It is sort of just photos anyway. So
There we go. Okay, right. I think it'd be nice though, because it's such valuable work. Yeah.
They are really lovely photos, but I'm not sure. Wait, hang on, I pressed a button. Can you see?
We got long lead at the moment.
Cool. Oh, for some reason it wants to set Longley as the default slide. It won't let me change it to any of the others. Oh, right. I've done something. I don't know if you can see.
No, but we can still see you.
I think I can control them, Molly. It's Mark speaking. Yeah, I've got control of the slides if you want me to change them as we go along.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just on the inclusive sports day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so our inclusive sports day, as I said, it's for members and non-members, but people can come, they can try out a range of different activities. We tailor it so that it can meet the needs of everyone. We tried to get a range of activities, so we have like people come with accessible bikes, people come, we've got wheelchair basketball, we do yoga, we do inflatable salt courses, football, a range of different things. And then if you want to go to the next slide, Millfield. This is a school fairly local to here. They put on activities for children and adults with learning disabilities. So we've been taking our adults clubs for years, but it's a really fun day. So we thought our kids clubs would really enjoy it. So they can go here and try again a range of I think there's over 70 activities they can participate in, and it just gives them that opportunity to try out new things, explore different activities, see if there's anything they really like. And all the students from Milford are really lovely and really supportive with our members. Next slide, please. We also do a spooktacular. So this every Halloween, we do an event that is it's more inclusive and more sort of calm for children with learning disabilities. A lot of feedback we got from our parents is that like sort of the Halloween discos or other events that their children could possibly go to just aren't right for them and they find it too much. So we just have all the activities set out, have it really chilled, really relaxed, and kids can come and go and join in as they please. Next one, please. We also do Santa's Grotto. So again, this is an inclusive event, so the children don't have to wait in any sort of queue. They get given a time slot and they come in, they do activities, and then they go and see Santa. So even though sort of, you know, they are allocated a time slot, they don't come in and then have to wait in a queue for ages. They naturally transition in to go and see Santa, which we've had a lot of positive feedback to say that a lot of our members, they haven't been able to go to sort of any Santa's Grotto because it's been too overwhelming and the queues have been too much. And next slide, please. So this is our last slide. So this is just about our future. So for 2026, we are going to be introducing an Easter event similar to our Spooktacular and Santa's Grotto. As I said earlier, we found that there's not a lot of support during the holidays, so we're trying to do something during each of the holidays, to even if it's one day a week, just to provide that bit of support. We are also going to organise a family picnic, again something else for people to come to in the summer, and we also are going to be organising a weekend away to Barton Camp. So this will be for our children's clubs, just a Friday to Sunday, just to try and help with that bit of independence and get them to be away from home. So it provides a bit more respite for families, but also it's a really good experience for children with learning disabilities that may not be able to sort of go on their school camps and things like that. So yeah, that's just a bit of an overview of Mencap and our children's clubs.
Beautifully timed. Does anybody have a question? No? Okay. Molly, thank you very much. Again, you can stay for the rest of the meeting if you want. Callum Lee. Callum, you're going to be talking to us about Butterflies Haven.
That's right.
That's what you're going to talk about. You will know what you're talking about. So.
Do you mind if I share my screen? It might be easier to click.
Yeah, that's fine, Callum.
Can everyone see it?
Yep.
Perfect. So, hi guys, my name's Callum. I'm the Chair of Trustees at Butterflies Haven. Hopefully you've all heard of us. We are a charity based in Keynsham that supports families with autism. So kind of every family who kind of comes along to Butterflies. Oh, Chris. Yep.
I think you've got the last slide showing first, Callum.
What was that, Chris?
I think you have the last slide showing first.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, see.
That's the first one up now. That's it. That's looking good.
I'll just click through it. Right. So every family's journey with autism is completely different, and we recognise that. So kind of we work along with our families and try to tailor kind of our sessions to meet them as much as we can. Many families just even go to a group can feel kind of overwhelming and isolating. So kind of what we find is lots of our children will try to go to brownies, guides, join the local football club, and actually it just doesn't fit for them. So we tried to tailor a group or a session that can make them feel a part of a family. Butterflies exist, so there's no family has to face that journey with autism on their own. So who we are, we're a registered charity, we're based in Keynsham. We support families with autism with or without a diagnosis, and that's the important bit. Sometimes to get a diagnosis of autism is extremely hard, and there's loads and loads of barriers to get through. And hopefully that we provide that safe, welcoming space for children and young parents, young people and parents and carers. So kind of what's our mission? Kind of what do we set out? So we provide ongoing support for families living with autism. We try to create a dedicated service and space where the children can feel like they're accepted and empowered, and no family should ever feel alone on kind of their autism journey. So kind of what do we run? So we run we run 2 groups on a Monday, and that's called our Step Up group. So kind of it starts at about 6:30, it ends about 8:30, kind of with both groups. So within Step Up, these are children kind of aged 11 to 18, and it's like a youth surface run to tailor for them. So we try to take them out bowling. We do lots and lots of different lots of different activities. So we go bowling, we go trampolining, we do lots of indoor kind of sports and activities, and it's just somewhere where they can feel kind of they're a part of it. And sometimes they'll come along and kind of say, I really want to do X, Y, and Z, but because they've got their friends with them, they're empowered to kind of go and do those new challenges that they might not do kind of at home. So like at Christmas time, we went and seen the Christmas lights in Bath. So we kind of try to take them out as much as we can, even just go down to the local chip shop and order some chips and kind of see them all together. It's such a great kind of experience. And then we run 2 groups on a Friday night. So it's kind of more like a stay and play. So kind of our children can play along with each other and hopefully build friendships. We have lots of kind of activities going on in kind of a hall. So kind of we'll do painting, dressing up, lots of sensory kind of games and stuff like that. We have a sensory room upstairs, which kind of is a quiet space. So sometimes a big loud hall kind of isn't where kind of people or children with autism will find calming. So we've got a calming environment for them to go along. We tailor kind of each session to lots of the kids. So kind of we find out what their like special interests are, and kind of what they're kind of fascinated by, and we'll kind of run with those ideas to see if we can kind of create unique sessions for these children. We do lots of activities, so we are term time, but we do lots of activities through the holidays. So like this February half term, we're going to Boxville in the theatre, and we're going to go and do the Bristol Light Walk with our older children. And then we try to run as much as we can through the summer holidays, just because this can be a long kind of stretch for those families. So kind of what our team that makes up Butterflies, we've currently got 7 trustees, we've got 1 administrator, we've got 1 fundraiser, 2 session coordinators, and a small team of volunteers. And kind of that is what makes Butterflies possible. Looking at kind of our future plans, kind of we want to expand and grow. Kind of we can only support 80 children at the moment, and we have children travelling all over Bristol and Bath just to come and see us. We're quite a unique service just because we're autism specific, and kind of these families feel like it's worth going to. We've kind of had parents in the past say that kind of what we run is gold dust, and we had families travel from kind of Midsummer Norton, Radstock, and then from the other side of Bristol just to come to our sessions. So our families feel like it's a really unique service to come along to. We're hoping that we can expand and grow. So kind of run kind of more coffee mornings, create some more pop-ups in kind of the Bristol and Bath area, and be able to support more families at the end of the day. We're always looking for people to get involved. If any of you guys ever wanted to get involved, we've got trustee vacancies and we've got session volunteer vacancies. Kind of everyone within Butterflies has training. So with our volunteer team, we offer safeguarding, autism awareness and first aid training and lots more. And then if you wanted to contact any of us, there's our address. Our office is based in Temple Street above Saviour, and we run at St. Francis Church. That was a whistle-stop tour. I didn't know how many minutes I had.
You did very well. Does anybody have any questions of Callum? I don't see any hands, Callum. Can I just say, I had the privilege of visiting Butterflies Haven a little while ago, and it's very impressive, lovely setup, and also a very impressive sensory room upstairs, which took me by surprise that you had something like that. So it really was very worthwhile, and I think Keynsham ought to be proud of the amount of support work that goes into looking after those who have special needs, coming in from certainly 2 we've heard of, and it may well be that there are other factions out there as well. So Callum, thank you very much. Again, if you want to stay, please feel free. You're most welcome.
Hi, Alan. It's Mark. Alan, it's Mark. Just to say,
Hello.
we've got a little bit out of kilter with the running order. Do we want to go back to see if Matilda's mic is working next? Is that okay?
That was where I was going, but thank you for the reminder, Mark.
Thank you.
Andy.
It won't let me stop sharing my screen for some reason.
I'm happy for you to go straight to Matilda, and I've got my fingers crossed down.
Okay, but
can everyone hear me?
Mark, are we able to get rid of the
I'm trying to do that now. I'll do my best. I think if Callum goes to the share, if you go to the share button, it should allow you to stop sharing.
It won't. I've
No, it
pressed
won't let
it.
you do that.
I can log out and log back in.
That might
See
be the
if-
best thing to do. Yeah, that might be because when you log out, that should you should drop them.
Can people hear me now?
We can, Matilda.
Just bear with us, Matilda, and then everybody better see you better when we're all on the screen.
Yeah.
In a moment. How are we doing, Callum or Mark? There we go.
There we go.
Matilda, we can all see you, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Sorry for those technical difficulties. I don't think I've used Teams since COVID, but that's all sorted now. So I am the chair of Keynsham now, and I'm just going to give kind of a brief overview of what we've done in the last year-ish. So recently our numbers have grown, which has been really great. We're getting like over 20 members at our monthly meetings, which has been lovely. And in these meetings, we do so many different things. A large part of it is where we get new issues from young people, where we get all of the young attendees, which is like from the ages of about year 7 to year 13, which I'm in, and we let people just come to us with the issues they have in society. Well, our local society. And this has led to a rise in campaigns that we have run. So we've had campaigns against knife crime. We've had campaigns to try and stop underage vaping, anti-homophobia campaigns. These are kind of some of our ongoing ones. And among these, we try to get in speakers. We've had someone come to talk to us from the Violence Reduction Unit. We've had people come to talk to us on other things. We've had someone come from Baines to talk to us about culture in Bath and Bristol, and we've had people come to talk to us about how to protest and what's a safe way to do that and what would make us protest. And as a way to further particularly our anti-homophobia campaign, which we're trying to centralise in schools, in our next meeting in March, we're having 3 head teachers from Wellsway, Broadlands and IKB come into our meetings, and we're hoping to be able to collaborate with them in some way to further this campaign within school environments. We also do various things. We've been given £148,000 to help with the updating of Teviot Park, and we have a whole dedicated subcommittee. They meet up regularly along with our meetings, and they have been doing so much hard work with creating mood boards and picking companies to work with to make this park an amazing place for the community. And they've also interacted a lot with the community. They've done surveys, they've gone door to door talking to people, just trying to find out what is going to benefit that community the best, which has been really great to be a part of. We have stalls at the music festival and the winter festival, and this last year at the music festival we raised £128 to go to the Trevor Project, which is a suicide hotline specifically for LGBTQ+ youth. So that was amazing. And also in the winter festival we managed to raise £177 for one of our members who is volunteering in, or aiming to go and volunteer in, Zambia. So we're really trying to support him with that. I think he's going to go and he's going to teach kids spelling and reading and writing. So we're wishing him all the best on that. And then apart from that, I mean, we tend to try and have discussions and debates to keep the young members updated on what's kind of going on in their local area and just in England. Recent debates include if under 16-year-olds should have access to social media and if voting should be compulsory, which are always really interesting and fun to do, particularly because a lot of the members are quite young now, which is great because we used to have a much older kind of group, but it's shifted recently. And it's really great to see these people coming into these ideas, figuring out what their own opinions are, and just kind of learning about the world around them as they go. But yeah, I think that's, sorry if I was a bit quick there, that's kind of a brief overview. I don't know if anyone has questions for me, I can try and answer.
I can't see any hands going up. Matilda, could I just ask one question? Did I mishear how much money you were given for Teviot.
Teviot Park, £148,000.
Goodness me. And where did that come from?
Andy can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure it's to do with when the Higgy Hooger estate got built, there was money left over from the building company, I think. And so that money was given to a council, and that money obviously after a certain period of time just goes, like they can't use it anymore. So because some of our members had expressed interest in helping with that committee, we contacted that council and they said, actually, we've got this money from it being built that is going to just disappear otherwise. So we're kind of managing that now.
Okay, that's super. Thank you for that. Andy, you've just put your hand up.
Yeah, Tilly did a really good job at explaining that. It's SIL money for those of you. Most of you know what SIL money is. It came from Baines. It went from Baines to the town council, and the town council gave us the responsibility of actually deciding how the play areas were built, for the fairly obvious reason that young people know more about children's play than people like me. So that seemed to be the reason for that. And they've worked very, very hard. We're actually at a stage now where we've got 3 companies. We know what we want to have. We've had young people talking about the baseball. There's a basketball area there, and they want that improved as well, and a trim trail. So there's a lot going on. I hope we can afford it with the £148,000 that we've been given.
All right, Andy. Chris Jorgensen.
Sorry, I couldn't get my mic open. I'm quite impressed by all of this, Matilda, and I just wondered whether the expertise and knowledge that your team have built up over working on the Teviot Park upgrade will be utilised in all the other play areas in the town that need upgrading.
I know we have discussed how we can deal with kind of any issues in other areas before. Obviously, not all play areas have extra 150 grand lying around for us to pick up, unfortunately. We kind of, I think we were obviously focusing on this project right now. If the opportunity came up to do this in another area, we would love to, but it's a case of money and our time. But we always do stuff like litter picks in areas that we think are kind of not great, kind of sanitary wise or visually. So I think it's something we would love to be able to do, but something that's hard to do without the money there.
Yeah, I realise that, but I've seen recently, and town councillors on the call will be able to correct me, but I'm pretty certain that something's come out from the town council recently about the play area in Park Road, which is closest to where I live and is definitely in need of upgrade. And it would just be a shame if your team have built up a lot of knowledge and expertise on how to engage with families and children about what is needed in the play areas, if that was just wasted. So well done to your team is what I'm saying.
Yeah. If we perhaps draw the line there, Chris, if there are issues with that one in Park Road, then I'm sure that Dave Biddleston and I would like to be told in detail, but this meeting isn't a political, and I'm not suggesting we're making it political, but this meeting isn't a political meeting per se. But your points are noted.
Yeah, I realise that, Alan. It's just that if we've got a group of enthusiastic young people, you need some.
No, I take on board what you say. But it just, if you have any thoughts as to what you want to achieve or what you would like to achieve or see somebody else achieve, then please let us know. All right. Okay, Matilda, thank you very much. It's very kind. Thank you. Now we have, I'm told, Best Start in Life and Family First Programs, Baines Children's Services. Now they haven't told me who's speaking, but I'm looking at Paula on the screen and I'm assuming that it's perhaps you, Paula, is it?
It's myself and Jean. We're both here this evening.
Yeah, shall I come in? So, good evening,
hello,
everyone.
Joe, sorry.
Yeah, I might be on another page. So two of us are here today. We are going to put up some slides to share. I'm Jean Kelly, Director of Children's Services and Education, and Paula Sumner. Do you want to introduce yourself, Paula?
Yeah, thanks, Jean. Hi, everybody. I'm Paula Sumner. I'm one of the Assistant Directors in Children's Services responsible for transformation.
So and who is Joe then? Because I got Joe on my screen with, are you still part of this, Joe?
Don't know who Joe is,
no,
sorry.
No, I think that might be me. And no, I'm not part of this. I'm from the SENDIAS Bathnes service.
Okay. In that case, I'll study this briefing sheet I've got in front of me. But yes, sorry, Jean and Paula, you carry on.
No problem. Because we're attending all of the forums, there's 4 of us that will be presenting at various forums, so that's why there's 4 names there, but it's just Paula and I this evening. So we were going to spend about 10 minutes or so just talking to you about 2 central government mandated programmes, and one is the Best Start in Life and the other is the Family First programme of reforms. So we were going to start with Best Start in Life. So if we go to the first slide, Paula. So the government's plan for children has set out very clear plans in relation to children who are in that first 1,001 days of life, to make sure that they get the best start in life. And there are 3 areas that are a focus for development that we have been mandated, as every other local authority in the country has, in order to set out a local plan. And we're in the throes of developing that local plan, which will be ready in April. So we want to talk to as many people as possible in order to ensure that we're hearing far and wide across the local authority voices, so that we can make sure that the plans we have and are thinking about are really the right plans to make it accessible for all. So you can see on this slide that there are 3 areas of focus for the Best Start in Life strategy and the development of our local plan. The first is to develop family hubs, Best Start family hubs. Now, many local authorities across the country received funding some years ago in order to develop family hubs historically. We didn't receive that money in Baines. We didn't reach the deprivation levels that were required at that time to get that funding. But every local authority that didn't get that funding has now been allocated some capital funding to transform or develop existing centres into family hubs. And the first one that we will develop is not in the Keynsham area, it is actually going to be in Twerton. But we will then be transforming our existing children and family centres, and the one in Keynsham is relevant here, into family hubs, so that we open up access in those centres as wide and as far as possible for children from birth to school and ideally beyond. But we're in the very early stages of this. We are required, as part of the Best Start in Life strategy, to make more accessible early education and childcare. And we're required to improve the quality of early years education and support, so that children reach what's being described formally as a good level of development before they reach reception age. So that's that first year in mainstream school. Let's move on, Paula, if we can. So in terms of developing our local plan for April, as I've said, we're investing in a family hub and building on our existing children family centres. We're also developing champions, so community champions, navigators they're often called, to support in local communities parental engagement, early identification of children's needs, and access to much earlier help through the hubs, but also through the network of provision that is available in each community area. So we're developing a range of resources to support parents to access the best kind of support. And we're also increasing our offer for fathers and partners. And some of the particular interventions are on the next slide, and I'm going to quickly whiz through those. Slow this evening. Doesn't want to work, is that?
Yeah, it's just having some issues on moving on, but I'll try this way. There we go.
So some of the accessible interventions in order to ensure children have a good level of development reaching reception age. Nationally, local authorities have been asked to ensure that at least 75% of children in their area have reached that good level of development. In Baines, actually, we've been set a target of 82% of our children. So, and that's not to say that we stick at that. Obviously, we're ambitious for all children to have reached a good level of development. But the government have set targets and benchmarks that we need to at least achieve, and we take that as an at least achieve rather than a target to reach to. So some of the interventions include investing in a Get Set for School programme. So this is a transition programme between early years provision and to mainstream school to support children to make sure that emotionally, socially, behaviourally, and in terms of their communication needs, they are ready to access learning at reception age. And we know that this can be a challenge. It isn't just a challenge in our local authority, it's well understood across the country. We have been developing what we're calling a trauma-informed toolkit for our mainstream schools, and a number of mainstream schools have joined that, and we're extending that to all early year settings. And this allows our early year settings to sign up to using a trauma-informed approach that supports children and families to really gain access to all of the provision that's available, really wanting to understand children's needs to make sure they all catch up and are ready for mainstream school. There are therapeutic approaches that we will make available in early year settings and primary schools. And one example of this is TheraPlay. So using sunshine circles to support children to develop their ability to communicate and understand their emotional and mental health needs so that they can get their needs met from a really young age, whether it's at home or in an education setting. We're enhancing the 2 to 2.5 year developmental review that health visitors undertake by adding in a 3-year check for any child that is identified as having additional needs at that 2.5 year check, so that we can really bespoke support for those children early on and reduce the need for escalating their needs to more statutory services, really reaching them as early as we can and supporting their parents and carers to support them. And then finally, we are investing in Language for Life that will really support children's speech, language and communication in the early years. So really making sure in our early years settings, in nurseries with childminders, that we're supporting and identifying children early. So that's all I'm going to say about the Best Start in Life programme tonight. It is a long programme and we are happy to come back to you as it develops. Obviously, we want to engage community members, parish councils, local colleagues to join us in the development of that programme. The next the second programme that I'll move on to is... Yeah, sorry, still got more to go. So this is the second reform. This is the Family First Partnership Programme of Reforms. And actually, this is as far-reaching as the Best Start in Life. So the government, 3 years ago, published Josh McAllister's review of children's social care. In fact, it was 4 years ago, it's 2022. And also there was the publication of some national learning following high-profile children's deaths. And this has led to the development of the Children's Wellbeing in Schools Bill, which will become legislation at some point this year. It's currently travelling through the House of Lords. It's at its third reading and will become legislation. Ahead of that legislation, though, we have been asked to make some reforms that are mandatory in our services, and it's happening across the country. We are hopeful and expecting that our changes will begin to be live in July, but we have a 3-year programme of embedding these changes, and they may slightly change with the implementation of that legislation. So as I say, it's led by the Department for Education, and we are in the throes of that work now. So I'm going to hand over to Paula, who's going to say a few things about this programme before we're going to ask you some questions, but you may not want us to ask you those questions. You may want to ask us entirely different ones. So we're really open to that. Paula.
Yeah, thanks, Jean. So as Jean mentioned, the reforms that are being named by the DfE are called the Families First Partnership Programme, and it was strongly influenced by that independent review of children's social care, which, yeah, longer ago than I remember now, 2022, and it does really focus on the strengthening of family support and reducing reliance on statutory care. So really focusing on that early help, early intervention and early support. And as we said, it reflects those recommendations from the national panel's review of 2 high-profile deaths. And a lot of what comes out of that review is about how we respond to children who need our protection. So a little bit more about that later. And we have got the benefit of a number of Pathfinder local authorities in each of the regions who have implemented this earlier. So we have the benefit of learning from them and the things that they've implemented and perhaps had to change as they've moved through their journey. But primarily it's new models of family help, child protection, with family-led decision making, so working with families rather than 2 families, so working in quite a different way, although we are starting from a strong foundation in Baines, particularly around our family group conferencing. So the overall vision for the Families First Partnership Programme is to create that much more coordinated and streamlined multi-agency system that offers help at the right time. The right help at the right time, and it's kind of a mantra that most of us who work in the sector have kind of have been wedded to, but this being set out in mandatory guidance is really helping us to refocus our attention in that space. So the ambition nationally and locally, certainly here in Baines, is to strengthen our offer around early intervention and therefore reduce that escalation to statutory services, and particularly for those children who do unfortunately need to come into the care of the local authority. And we want to embed that family-led decision making in our planning and how we support families right throughout all of our practice, from early help right up to our statutory functions. And I suppose the significant part of the guidance is that we will integrate what we all know as targeted early help, so that family support, with our statutory child in need support, and we'll create new family help teams, and that's really clear in the guidance. So that will be bringing those services together so that families don't experience change in worker as their needs change or risks change. So that's a really significant part of the programme. So just to kind of chunk up the programme, there are, I suppose, 3 main areas: family help, and that, as I described, is that seamless support system led by what will be called family help lead practitioners. So every family will have a named key worker who is their point of contact, and they will stay with them as much as possible throughout their journey where they require support from children's services. And they will be multidisciplinary teams providing that early targeted help before statutory intervention is required. So that may mean practitioners who have a social work qualification or practitioners who are qualified in other areas. So, for example, early years, youth work, family support. So there will be that much broader disciplinary team. Second element is the multi-agency child protection teams. And so those are shared kind of teams that will share the delivery are in supporting those children who need safeguarding. So that will require a combination of obviously social care, police, health and education. So they will be really multi-agency in their nature and will support those families. And what that will do is introduce a new role of the child protection lead practitioner, and they will be an experienced, qualified social worker who've got lots of experience of child protection, and they will be there to help strengthen our decision making right from the moment we become aware of a family's needs through to their support that is developed in their plans. And then the third element is family group decision making. So that's used right across our family help teams and our multi-agency child protection team. So that will be our core element of working in terms of working alongside families so that they are front and centre of all decisions made about them where it's safe to do so. And so what that will do is ensure that all families are central to the planning and creating of solutions to support them in their journey. We've added a couple of elements to the programme locally because we feel that they are areas that need some further development to enable us to actually deliver on those mandatory areas of development. One is the integrated front door. So we'll provide a single point of entry where there's no wrong front door for families accessing children's services. So we've got real clear oversight of all of the children and families that we're supporting, and we're ensuring that the solutions that we put in are positively impacting those families. And then, as Jean's described, we put our Best Start in Life programme within this because it is so intrinsically linked to the Families First programme. So just very quickly, what we've done to date, we've been developing and designing potential new ways of working with that emphasis on integration, multi-agency practice, right from the front door through our family help teams and into that multi-agency child protection team. So we've been designing various models to consider how that might work best in Baines for our children and families. We've engaged with our staff in terms of what some of those models may look like, and we're in a period of engagement as of 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And we've also been working with children and families with lived experience on particular areas of the programme to seek their views on how it would feel for them, those changes, and they've been giving us some really invaluable pointers as to how we can design our new services to actually support families as best we possibly can. And we've obviously been working with our statutory partners and our voluntary sector partners, school colleagues, etc. So they've been part of our working groups as we've been designing this, and they've been helping us to shape what those designs look like. Okay, so I think we've got a question, but we did have some questions, but I'll
If I could say something first, just very quickly, Paula is going to put an email address in the chat because we're conscious that there might be some colleagues who think, actually, I'd like to know more and I'd like to get involved. And we'd really welcome hearing from you. So we are going to put an email contact in because we realise this is a really quick whistle-stop tour of 2 huge programmes. We put some suggested questions up, but you may wish to ignore those and ask all of your own. But we just wanted to be ready to be able to use the time well together.
Okay, Martin, you have a question, I think.
Yeah, my name's Martin Byrne. I run a dads group called Who Let Dads Out, and which works with preschool children. I'm also run a community centre that does a breakfast and babies group for mothers of babies 0 to 6 months. So I do know the concerns of local families, and the biggest one is about the lack of nursery provision. And Keynsham has got huge, we're going to get possibly more houses, and there is just lack of provision in the nursery years. So it's all and that's essential, as you said, to the first 1,001 days. So my question is, how do you work with your planning colleagues in making sure the developers are providing decent infrastructure in nursery care? So Section 06, are you ensuring that there is Section 06 provision for all new developments to ensure there is decent nurse provision in Keynsham? Because at the moment, it's sadly lacking, and people having to go to all sorts of places to get nurse provision. And what we want is nurse provision in Keynsham for local people who live and work in Keynsham.
So this is separate to either of these two initiatives. So I just want to be really clear that it is not either of these DFE mandated programmes that we came to talk to you about this evening, but our early years head of service with my director for education absolutely look at this and work with planning colleagues. But if there are particular issues that you think, Martin, that we are not addressing, I certainly welcome hearing more from you on that. But it wasn't strictly what we were coming to talk about, but I absolutely hear the point made. And this is about how do we start to really join up a system of support for families, isn't it, in the right way? So I hear your point. I don't have the map of exactly what nursery provision there is locally and what's planned, but I take that away. I've made a note of that to pick up with Chris Wilford and Julie Eden, who are the two senior people that I've just described to you.
That's great. Thank you for that undertaking, Jean. Chris Hansel. You're on mute, Chris.
Thank you. My question is that are you building into your programmes handover systems for when children get to a certain age and you need to access work with them as how do they get work with as older children or young adults if they need it?
So the Best Start in Life is focused on children who are in that preschool or just into primary school age. The second set of reforms that we talked about, the Families First reforms, they refer to children 0 to 18. So it covers the whole childhood lifespan. So those children, of course, will be eligible for support if families make contact and seek that targeted early help provision.
Okay, so there will be systems to link in with youth services and so on. Yeah.
Well, anybody can make a contact with our front door to seek support, whether it's a family seeking support or a relevant professional who's concerned about a child or feels that a family needs support. We don't run youth services, that, but we will look to support families, signpost families, young people to those provisions in relation to what the best fit is to meet their needs. And it's what we do currently, so it's not a massive change to what we already do. I think that over time we want a more seamless system so that it doesn't feel that people have to go to all sorts of places to try to get information about what support's available.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Jean and Paula, thank you very much for your contribution. And as you say, perhaps we shall see you come back again at some stage, if that's helpful. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Mark, while I think of it, can you perhaps ping an email to Richard Burgess on my behalf and offer him my apologies, because I see that he's had to leave.
Yeah, that's fine, Alan. He was a late addition to the agendas, so I think he understands, but I will do that for you, of course.
If you would, thank you.
Thank you.
Right, and somebody else who I have to apologise to, Joe, I'm ever so sorry, I did miss you on the running order, but the floor is yours now.
That's fine, thank you. I think I was a late addition too. So we've been asked to come this evening just to say, I think your focus was on children and young people. So coming just really to say a little bit about the service that I work for and how we work with children and young people. So I'm from SENDIAS Bathnes, and for those of you that aren't familiar with that, SENDIAS stands for Special Educational Needs and Disability Information, Advice and Support Service. So the service is for children and young people 0 to 25 who have or may have special educational needs or disability. And like a lot of the other people who've talked earlier tonight, there's no requirement for any diagnosis to access our service. So children and young people, their parents and carers can use the service, and we can also be contacted by professionals if they would like some information about something. Although we don't give sort of detailed one-to-one advice to professionals, but we can help by signposting them or suggesting sources of information for them. So what do we do? Well, really, we aim to support families from when they have perhaps the very earliest concerns about their child or young person, who are maybe reaching out for some very initial information, right the way through to helping with much more complex things like appeal processes. So for example, people might come to us to try and to understand more about how a child or young person can be supported in school, to ask about what help they can get, and we'll talk them through that process. And then as they move on, we might look at statutory processes, how they can apply for an education healthcare plan. And everything sort of in between that, if that makes sense. So we support families through, we have a helpline, an information line that people can get in contact with us through, and we offer telephone help. We also have a service, a surgery service, which operates from the library in Keynsham, where people who would prefer to see us in person can come to an appointment there. We work with partners across the area, so we go out to Parent Carer Forum cafes, to Butterflies, Haven, to lots of other places where families might find it easier to access the service. So we can help by email, telephone, and then providing that one-to-one support. So sometimes families that we work with might find it very overwhelming to go to meetings about their child's education. So that might be something where we would support. That aspect of our service is often kind of used by parents and carers of children and young people, but children and young people can also access our service directly. And we have someone who works in particular with young people, for example, in supporting them to put forward to gather their views and put forward their views in communicating with school or as part of the Education Healthcare Plan annual review process. Would you mind moving on to the next slide, if you can? Thank you. Or maybe the one before that. So, we've just, recently produced this new postcard, which is really aimed at children and young people. So the kind of purple background side of it, sorry, it doesn't render so well on here, explains to young people how they can contact our service for one-to-one advice, and the kind of yellow background side of it explains more about our participation groups. So we run a group for children and young people called Send Out, where young people can kind of come and have their voice heard, share their experiences of their SEND journey, and help to shape and develop our service and have influence in terms of the wider area that we work in. So we try to do some fun things, but also we'll have a core issue, core topic that we're dealing with as part of that. And we have held groups in the youth zone in Keynsham, but more recently we've been holding them online because it's quite difficult to have a forum that's accessible to everyone across the whole of the Bathnes area. And I was going to go to the next slide if that's okay. So this is, I just put this on here as an example. So we share a newsletter called Send Out, which is aimed at children and young people. And that gives news about events and relevant things which are happening in the area. And that gets sent out termly for the, so at the long terms, if you like, Christmas, Easter, summer holidays. And that's available on our website, or people can sign up to it. And that's a key way as well, I think, for accessing information about our service and resources is through our website, where there's a host of useful materials, and we have an events page where you can book an appointment directly through the events page. You don't need to kind of ping pong back and forward to us or wait for someone to ring. People can just book an appointment directly, and they can contact our service through a web form that's on there as well. Oh, thank you. We use Facebook and Instagram really for kind of up-to-date messaging and reminders, so it's good to follow our Facebook page to find out about things that are happening, and we try to share information that's relevant across the local area, and work with our partners in the from the local offer, Live Well Bathnes. Yeah, that's us really.
Thank you, Joe. Are there any questions for Joe? I can't see any hands. So, Joe, thank you very much for coming along. And again, my apologies for missing you in the running order, but we got you on. So
not at all. Thank you.
That was fine. Okay, well, that brings us to the end of our business, as it were. Thank you all for attending. The proposed meeting dates for 2026 have a scheduled starting time of 6:30. And these dates are the 24th of June, and that will be an in-person one, so you'll have to come out. That'll be the local plan and Keynsham regeneration as a topic. Then September, October, the forum tries, we did last year, if I remember rightly, to do a sort of an out visit to somewhere of interest, and it says on my running order, e.g. police custody suite. So that might be of interest to some, I don't know. But again, if there is somewhere corporate, for want of a better term, that anybody wants to visit as a group, then please let us know, because I'm sure that we can make the arrangements. And then on the 25th of November, we are back online. The sort of thinking is that during the darkness, people probably prefer to do it in the comfort of their home, and particularly with the weather as it is at the moment, it's probably much better. So, unless anybody's got any specific points they want to raise, I'll bid you good night. Have a safe journey downstairs, and see you all in the future. Thanks very much. Bye.
Thanks, Alan.
Hello, Adrian.
Thanks, Alan.
Is everything all right?
Apologies for being late, Alan. I'm sorry about I didn't get everyone on time. Sorry about that.
No worry. No worry. Everything okay?
Yes, fine. Thank you. Yeah.
All right.
Cheers, Alan. Thanks, mate. See you soon.
Okay.